Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales podcast presented by DJD Graphics, episode 81. I'm Jacob Dove of Phenom Motorsports, along with Sean Blight of Canadian Racing Tours. And on today's episode, joining us is CARSON FERGUSON. But before we have him on, we wanted to share some exciting news. Sean, want to go ahead and tell everybody?
Yeah, so we have just launched the After the Scales website. It is afterthescales.com. So that's where you're going to find all of the latest news from the racing world. You can get in touch with us regarding photography, videography, links to our podcast if you want to send it off to other people. So yeah, we're pretty excited. We've already started posting some articles and things on our Facebook page as well. And we're still going to do some fine tuning with the website, but it is up and running, so people can go check that out.
Yeah, just go over to afterthescales.com. Like Sean said, we got stuff already there, and we'll put a link down below in the description. Moving on to our buddy Danny Sams. Obviously, finished up with a high limit season, and he's doing another fun giveaway. I know he did one last year at Charlotte World Finals. He's doing another one, kicking it up a notch. Share with our viewers about what's going on there.
Yeah, we wanted to plug Danny, let everyone know what's going on with him. A lot of people have probably already seen it. Last year, he gave away a side-by-side at Charlotte. This year, he's got an e-bike that they're giving away. So all you have to do is go online to shopd3.com. Every $5 you spend gets you an entry into that contest where you can win that e-bike. If you're going to be at World Finals, Danny will be there. So you can actually go to his merch trailer in person, and the same rules apply. Buy anything, every $5 counts as an additional entry. So I don't know if he's going to have the bike there. I know it's going to be wrapped. It's going to be rewrapped, so it's going to look really, really cool when it's done. And you'll be ready to rip around the High Limit Tour in Danny's personalized wrapped e-bike. So people are going to want to check that out if you're going to be in Charlotte next week.
Yeah, definitely check that out. And speaking of Charlotte, you're going to be there again this year. Talk a little bit about how excited you are. I know looks like David Gravel and I don't really want to say his name, but Bobby Pierce is going to win the two championships. But I feel like the big blocks are going to be the highlight of the weekend. So kind of share about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's pretty much wrapped up too. Matt Williamson's got, I think, a 91 or 97 point lead. They race at Georgetown on Friday, so they're the only series they actually have another race before Charlotte, weather permitting. They're at Georgetown, so if there's gonna be a points battle, we'll maybe get a preview. If I mean, Money Matt's gonna have to have something go wrong at Georgetown, I think. Which is a lot different than last year because they just he showed up, he was behind Matt Shepard, and by the end of the weekend, he had the championship clinched. But down, second, third, fourth, fifth, there's always big battles going on too, and on all those series. So, yeah, a lot of big money on the line. It's a really cool event. If you haven't done it, go check it out.
Definitely tune in for that. And we'll have CARSON Ferguson joining us right after this short message.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Sean and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
All right, joining us now is a Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series full-time driver. And it's only correct for me to do the James Essick impression for CARSON. So, and out of Lincoln, North Carolina, driver the number 93 for Palor Motorsports. It's the Rolex CARSON Ferguson. It's going to be a dandy, folks. Oh, man. Thanks, CARSON, for joining us.
Yes, sir. You got to make sure to add Chris's cousin in there because they normally do that.
Yes, we're definitely going to get into that. And we did have Chris's cousin on our episodes before. So we got CARSON joining us. Thanks again for joining. And, well, we'll start it off with your Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series season. You finished 9th in the point standings. Just kind of go through it. Obviously had a, up and down year. Had 2 wins throughout the 2025 season. And, yeah, just kind of walk us through it.
Yeah. It started off with good speed and speed weeks, just a lot of bad luck. speed weeks can either put you ahead for the rest of the season or put you behind, and we fell in the behind category. I think I led the series in most flat tires this year, and then most blown motors. I'm sure we were top 3 in that too. So just sophomore year blues, and but had a lot of speed to back it up, I guess. So we're taking the speed that we did have and kind of using that to propel us through the off season into next year.
Yeah, Jacob and I, we were both at Alltech in Ocala, and we were talking earlier today, just kind of preparing to have you on, and we were just both kind of reminiscing about those 10 days or whatever it was, and how fast you were the entire time we were down there. And it's like every night almost, like there was something that, you're running second or third and you get caught up in somebody else's mess or just mechanical or tires or whatever. And then kind of later in the year, man, like just recently, you got a couple of wins towards the end of the year. You kind of been putting a little more consistency together. Is that just kind of learning, getting sort of more accustomed to the team, or what do you attribute that to?
I mean, I really think it's just we didn't have as much things go wrong the last few weeks as we normally do through a race night. I mean, we had the speed. Like I said, I feel like all year long we timed a lot better than we normally do, and normally my strong months are May, June, and some of July, and then the rest of the year is kind of idle. But like you said, the last few months here has been kind of picking the pace back up and getting things a little bit turned around. There, middle of the year, I felt like we had a good stretch going, of good top tens and stuff like that, and then it just kind of spiraled all at once. And whether it was a flat tire or hurt another motor or me doing something, stupid in the seat or, no matter what it was, it just things weren't happening the way we needed them to be successful. So I don't think a lot of people realize how much things got to go your way just to run top 10 or top 5, let alone win the thing. So Ricky Thornton and JD Moran, all of them make it look really easy, but I promise it's not.
Yeah, you mentioned about blown engines and flat tires, and obviously the flat tire part, a lot of it's out of not your control. And as far as Hoosier goes, everybody has to run Hoosiers, everybody has to run same tires. But maybe talk about the mechanical side of things. I believe you've run Vic Hill engines. Just talk about how that reliance on the engine goes, and maybe making a switch maybe in the future if you think that things haven't gone their way.
Yeah, so this year we switched to Clements and Cornette, and so we didn't really. I feel like a lot of it sucks because it makes the engine builders look bad, but I really truly feel like nobody works harder than Glenn Clements and anybody at Clements Racing Engines. If you knew the hours they put in, I think everybody would agree, but it's not able to be shown sometimes just because of a bad batch of parts or something like that they might get. So I think a big part of the problem was the camshafts there for the beginning of the season. So it was like, okay, if you got a newer camshaft over the off season during your rebuild, then you're probably gonna have to take your motor back 3 or 4 times just to see if anything can be different. So during speed weeks, I think a lot of people pop motors, just from a rebuild and, newer parts that were, maybe not up to par where they needed to be. Sorry. So, it's hard to put, I wouldn't say anybody's looking to switch engine builders, even though we did have a lot of bad luck, but, the engine builders are doing their job to kind of narrow down and do process of elimination on what the problem could be.
I'm curious, Carson, to talk to drivers kind of at this point in the season. Like your season starts in January, we're at the end of October. You still got World Finals next week. What's your mindset? Where are you at? After a long, grueling 80+ race schedule, how do you kind of deal with that? Like it's got to be exhausting. What's your state of mind where you're at right now?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely taken some getting used to. Not as far as being on the road, just being away from home is the biggest thing. I would say that our family's kind of tight knit, and I've got a girlfriend back at home, and I'm pretty close with her family, obviously. So not being around them when you're on the road is that's the toughest part. But when you're running good, it makes it a whole lot easier. But when you're running bad, that's when you're ready to just come home and take, 3 days off and go back, So, but also it's, I don't know if you hear like old racing guys are like, well, I out qualified so and so, in 1997, and they talk about that. So, like, I feel like us racers, that gets us through the hard times. We qualified pole at Port Royal and sucked the next week. So it's like, well, last week we did qualify pole, so it's we let that one little moment get us through a few weeks if it has to.
Now, going back early in your career, and not everybody comes from the same path as you. It's a little bit different. You are heavily involved with the legend car stuff, and I'm going to read off some of your highlights that you've had so far in your early days. So you were a three-time Legend Car Asphalt Oval Nationals winner, a three-time Legend Car Road Course World Finals champion. You were the first person to ever win the Dirt Oval, Asphalt Oval, and Road Course Nationals in the same year. Just talk about that. Obviously, legend cars are kind of a feeder to the asphalt late models, and then kids that are aspiring to be into NASCAR one day. So, kind of talk about that route that you took early on.
Yeah, growing up, I thought my route was going to be, trying to get to NASCAR. I raced against a lot of the guys in Xfinity and some of the Cup drivers and truck drivers. So I got we kind of hit our peak with what my dad could do, what we could afford, with the Bandoleros and the legend cars. And then, I think I ran like one asphalt late model race, and it costed us like $3,500, and the guy didn't charge us to rent the car, or, any damages or anything like that. So at that time, Dad was like, okay, we need to go dirt racing. And so we got my cousin's car at the time. Kind of dabbled in that, but I stayed linked up with asphalt, whether it was coaching or racing legend car races here and there, trying to get any opportunity I could. Just because I felt like I was behind on dirt, even though I was still young. I feel like a lot of the dirt drivers grow up racing, those winged outlaw carts, or now you have Millbridge or anything like that. So I definitely felt like my experience level and comfort level was a lot more elevated than it was on dirt. But there was about a 2 or 3 year span. I would go from dirt to asphalt during the summer, Monday and Tuesdays in the legend car, and then weekends on the dirt car. So being able to kind of turn versatile at that stage in my life, I felt like kind of helped me be more accepting to the dirt side. Not as far as not wanting to do it, just my skill level and confidence in myself kind of increased there for me to be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. So at that point, I feel like dirt, the equipment on dirt was kind of making the turn of, you got to have new equipment and the newest technology and stuff like that. So in 2018, we were selling the shop we were in, the house and stuff like that, and Dad gave me the option to go to a 4-year school or just go to a community college and sell the car that we had, get a new rocket. We had an older Warrior car. Go get a rocket, and he said he would pay for me to go to any chassis school or shock school I needed to go to. So that off season, I went to the Race Wise and Rocket School. And that next year, we ran the Fast Track Series, which was like a regional series, kind of like the Crate Racing USA deal. And we were able to win that, and then that kind of just propelled me through the past few years.
I'm sure Jacob's got some more. He's the technical late model guy, so he's probably got a lot more questions for you now. I'm just curious. I wanted to ask you about what were some of your home tracks then growing up?
Asphalt or dirt?
Both. Like where'd you cut your teeth?
So mainly we ran at Concord Speedway. It was they had a tri-oval half mile and then a quarter mile behind it. And I grew up on the quarter mile. We would go to the summer shootout at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then we started, other than those two, we would start hitting regional races, going to Atlanta or Kentucky, Georgia, whatever it may be. And then we would hit the national races. We would go to, I think we went to Texas one year, and Kentucky, I think, was the final one year as well. So did a lot of that on asphalt and then dirt. We have Cherokee Speedway, Carolina, but honestly, the last few years on the asphalt, we learned that, or me and my dad felt like it was best if we just traveled as much as we can. Maybe we felt like if you could run 20 races, but travel to those 20 races, and as opposed to, 30 races locally, you can maybe learn more during those 20 races, racing out, getting different kind of regions of dirt, noticing how it changes. So I definitely felt like that helped me as well.
And kind of fast forwarding now, you're in a couple years with Palor Motorsports, and fortunately, our good friend Bert, who runs Dirt Late Nation social media, couldn't join us be here tonight. He's got bronchitis, so we hope Bert feels better. But he wanted to ask you kind of about if you had any pressure going into Palor. Obviously, Tim McCready had many years running really well with the Longhorn factory team of Palor, and then obviously Tim McCready ended up parting ways and moving on, and you kind of stepped up into that and driver role for Palor. So kind of talk about that relationship and if there was any pressure on yourself to not just fill Tim McCready's shoes, but just get acclimated to the team.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of pressure. I tried not to show it, but Donald and Gina, the owners, they did great at not putting pressure on me, but from the outside world, I definitely felt a lot of pressure. Whether it was spoken about to me or not, we went to the first hunt to front race. I think it was like 2 days after everything had switched, and I didn't even make the race. So there was a lot of pressure I felt just because Timmy won the championship the first 2 years with the team, and then his third year they struggled and didn't have the year that they had been used to having the past 2 years. So that kind of helped it a little bit and kind of softened the blow from some of the fans and Tim McCready fans. But when I first got started, probably I haven't had messages in a while, but there was a few fans that would reach out and kind of not let me forget how good Timmy was in that car and compare our results to his. So those definitely sometimes that were harder than others, and you ask yourself if you can do it or not. But we still haven't got that first win that we're looking for. But like I said, like the old guys do, we hook on to those quick times and heat race wins as much as we can.
All right, so I touched on it earlier. You got Charlotte World Finals next week. You're obviously not racing for points, a lot of money on the line, and obviously prestige with that event. What's your take on the Charlotte World Finals? How do you feel going into that? And what kind of goals have you guys set up for yourself?
It's been a track that I've always struggled at. So last year, I don't think we missed almost. I think we almost made one, but we didn't really hit on all cylinders there. We were trying some stuff or testing for this year, and it just nothing really went our way. So yeah, I mean, we just hope to make the races and just go from there. It's not a Lucas event, so definitely the pressure is not there, but I feel like the pressure gets put back on with it being a hometown event, and our main sponsor, Hoopah Grading's out of that area. So, we got to try to make all them proud as well.
And we want to take a moment to let our viewers know if you're a fan of Carson, make sure to check out his merchandise. I know his girlfriend McKenna does a great job doing that. You can usually find her at the t-shirt trailer. I got my Carson Ferguson sticker up there on my wall. So Carson, you want to tell people where they can find you if they are interested in your merch?
Yeah, you can go to shopcarsonferguson.com, and like I said, McKenna, she updates everything pretty regularly. So some of the stock might be off count a little bit, but we'll be adding some new stuff here this week and the next day or two. So be sure to be on the lookout.
And before we go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I was going to say she designs a lot of that stuff herself, doesn't she, Carson?
There's some of the female designs that she does, like the crew necks and more of the stuff are more appealing to the girls, and race girlfriends and stuff like that. So the t-shirt companies we use, they knock it out of the park most of the time, and McKenna does really well with what she does, and I'm really proud of her.
Yeah, your stuff is really cool. I know I've talked to her. I think it was maybe Eldora just Because I bought the "It's a Good Day to Rip the Lip" shirt. That one really caught my eye, so I picked that one up. I think I got that at Eldora. And I was just talking to her about like how cool your stuff is. So yeah,
Thank you.
keep up the good work, because it's among the best in the late model souvenir area for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And before we get into a rapid fire segment, just talk about your relationship with your cousin Chris Ferguson. Obviously, we've had him on here before, but you guys are, obviously competitive. So at the end of the day, when you guys do race against each other occasionally, obviously you want to try to beat each other. But just talk about, kind of behind the scenes on if you guys learn some things off of each other and what that looks like going toward the future.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot closer the past 2 years. I feel like just the maturity in both of us and being less competitive off the track, where we can have that kind of relationship. So, we do. He helps me with just situational advice, whether it's at different events and not to get flustered or something like that. And then I have a pretty good relationship with his dad, Brian, for the car side of everything. We can bounce ideas off of each other. So, yeah, it's a good relationship. He's getting older now, so he's not racing as much. So I had to let him win the heat race at Eldora just to give him some more confidence.
All right, we really appreciate you coming on, Carson, and especially appreciate you coming on before 8 o'clock, because I'm going to be watching my Blue Jays hopefully bounce back after finishing at 3 a.m. last night. So I'll see you down in Charlotte. I'll be looking for some drinking buddies down there. So if you want someone to have a beer with, I'm your guy. Before we do let you go, we've got our DJD Gear rapid fire segment. Jacob's got 10 questions for you that he's going to fire off. And Jacob, go ahead.
All right. So first one we got for you. Before you were the number 93, you were the number 00. Was there any significance to that?
No, I was just born in 2000, and when I was in go-karts, Dad just gave me that number, I guess.
2000 as well. Hell yeah.
Heck yeah.
All right. So who gave you the nickname the Rolex?
Batiki, a few years back when I was racing crates, he gave me the Rolex. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. I get called other things. I don't think I have a real nickname yet that has stuck.
What are some hobbies, in quote, that your girlfriend allows you?
I think, is that on my race pass, whatever she allows?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, racing go-kart sometimes, and when she can come. I don't know, we like to go top golf. I don't know. It's hard to have hobbies when you're like so busy, racing 80 something races a year. But when I am home, I don't know, we're big on some movies on Netflix and shows and stuff like that. So I guess I don't know. We're so busy, we don't have really a main hobby that we like to do outside of it. But we spend a lot of time with each other, so really anything we can get into.
Now, it seems like you're not a big social media guy, but your girlfriend is, and I'm on there too, making funny TikToks and stuff. But which TikTok has been your favorite that your girlfriend McKenna has made you do?
I don't know. I try to kick my leg up, like she always does. We have a running joke that like anytime she's doing something, she can't, like she fights the urge to like pick her leg up or stick her arm up in the air. And I think that's like every girl that used to be in modeling or pageants or anything like that. I think that's something they all have in common. But yeah, I'm wanting to do some friends together and go ride go-karts. If she did a TikTok like that, I would look forward to a TikTok, but I'm not into the dancing and, all that.
All right. So what's the best place to eat or grab a drink at in downtown Lincolnton, North Carolina?
Court Street Grill. That place is our go-to. Or Barbecue King. It's really good.
If you could only race at one dirt track the rest of your career, which track would it be?
Swainsboro.
And which fellow competitor do you get along best in the pit area?
I feel like me and Garrett Alverson get along pretty well.
Yeah, I think everybody gets along with Garrett except for Tim.
Yeah, it's hard to not. If you don't get along with him, there's something wrong. Well, I know there's a few. Yeah.
What race car that you haven't raced yet that you would like to try?
Probably one of those prototype, road racing cars. The prototype class, I like those, and sprint car, and I don't know, anything in the NASCAR, like a NASCAR truck or something like that.
Now, this one's kind of funny because I know you've been called Hardy, but what do you think your celebrity lookalike is?
Already.
All right, last but not least, and I know we already kind of touched on this, but how many times do you think you've been called Chris Ferguson's brother?
Between brother, dad, uncle, neighbor, whatever it is, I hear something different every week, it feels like. So I'd say probably at least 40 to 50.
Yeah, I think McKenna talked about on her TikTok that people really come up and tell her who you're related to and all that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we had a guy at a go-kart track a few years ago. Well, it was probably 10 years ago now. He came up to us, and my dad was wearing a Chris Ferguson shirt. And my dad's Chris's uncle. I'm his cousin, obviously. So he told us that he was Chris's cousin. And, I mean, this guy, he was definitely from whatever go-kart track we were at. And you could tell he's never met Chris, and I asked Chris about him, but I just looked at Dad like, is this one of our family on your side or the other side?
Well, we appreciate your time joining us. I know you're a busy guy, and we do appreciate it. And make sure to check out Carson Ferguson's merchandise. Almost said Chris there. And good luck at Charlotte. I know Sean's going to be there. And Sean, better put Carson on your dirt draft.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. Unless Carson's got any other tips. He says he's not good there, so I might have to avoid that.
Yeah, and it's probably not going to be a Freddie Freeman shock like it was last night.
Ouch. Ouch. All right. Yeah, I'm just hopefully we don't have to stay up till 3 a.m. Whoever wins, if you could just get it over with in 9 innings, that would be great.
That's right.
All right, man. Yeah, we appreciate your time, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.